What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Coordinator. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. It appears that Hollywood is finally finding a spine, and it's starting with the comedy circuit. We've seen several people come out against cancel culture in the past several months, and I hope that this is a trend that continues because comedy is really one of the hardest hit by cancel culture. The idea that you can't take any risks in comedy because you only can make one mistake is a thing. You could point to people like Louis C.K. who was canceled, eventually, finally now trying to make some sort of comeback years later, having to perform under pseudonyms and things like that. Guy will probably never get another movie deal or television deal. So there are people that point to, well, Louis C.K. is performing, yeah, but, he'll never be at the level where he was before, a guy that was appearing regularly on TV, getting big comedy specials, things like that. Kevin Hart, if you remember, getting canceled a few years ago from a hosting gig over the use of the bundle of sticks word. If I remember correctly, that's what it was. Comedy just isn't what it used to be. I'm not saying comedy must be edgy. I'm not saying comedy must be offensive. Some of the best bits I've ever seen are totally PG or even G rated. It's not a thing that must be. And also there are things that done in the sake of comedy that, still may offend people, and that's okay. I think that people are starting to get sick of this where, you wonder, people don't understand how we get here. You watch these comedies or you see Hollywood making the same repetitive garbage year after year after year. And what most people see is they look at it and they're like, man, this is just, why is everything so unfunny and bland? Well, because you can't take risks. First of all, you can't take risks in Hollywood on like new IPs. That's why they continue to keep, regurgitating reboots and remakes, because there's a guaranteed built-in audience. With comedy, there's nonstop. There's just the guy that came out with, that was filmed by his friends. He had like kind of an offensive, purposely offensive take on another comedian there, a bit that he had done multiple times. And everybody was laughing. And this is a place where you work out comedy. They end up leaking the video in what my opinion was a weird clout chase thing to get the guy canceled. It was cringe. And now Kevin Hart defends making mistakes and wonders, quote, why we're supposed to be perfect. Kevin Hart thinks people should be allowed to disagree and screw up and learn from it. And now he's wondering when that stopped being okay. When did it get to the point in life was supposed to be perfect, where people were supposed to operate perfectly all the time? The comic and actor said in a Sunday interview in the Times of London, I don't understand it. I don't expect perfection from my kids. I don't expect it from my wife, friends, employees, because last I checked, it's the only way you grow up is from messing up. Hart speaks from experience, having lost high-profile job hosting the 2019 Oscars after an old phobic tweet and comments resurfaced. By the way, these things aren't, the media likes to use resurfaced a lot, but it's not. It's inorganic. These things are held in people's back pockets, and then when somebody's in the headlines, that's when these things come out. After he quickly stepped down from the gig amid ensuing backlash, he told talk show host Ellen DeGeneres, on my side, I openly say I'm wrong for my past words. I say it, I said it, I understand that, I know that. In this case, it's tough for me because it was an attack. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence that the day after I received the job, the tweet somehow just manifested. Exactly what I just said. Exactly what I just said. These things aren't coincidental. DeGeneres, too, got backlash from the LGBTQ community for hosting that 2019 interview, but Hart had her back in 2020 when she was facing controversy of her own. All of it mixed together in what has Hart tied in knots. People aren't considering intentions before they judge. It's not necessarily about cancel culture, Hart said in an interview. It's backlash. It's about the intent behind what you say. There's an assumption that it's always bad, and somehow we forgot comedians are going for a laugh. You're not saying something to make people angry. That's not why I'm on stage. I'm trying to make you laugh. If I didn't make you laugh, I failed. That's my consequence. We've seen several comedians come out basically saying this lately. LA Times TV critic Lorianne Ellie observed a change in Hart in her November review. No F's given. Hart has clearly been knocked back by and perhaps even learned from the blowback around his Oscars hosting gig, she wrote, calling out one joke that touched on Hart's reaction to the Oscars controversy. You guys got me living like a successful dealer, he says in a special, claiming that he's taken to making people who come to his house disrobe and get in the pool if they want to chat. How else will I know you're not wearing a wire? Who are you with? People? Who are you with? Did you come here to do a story for the tabloids? I don't trust you, Dad. And then, that was then and this is now. If there's a message to take from anything I've said, Hart told the Sunday Times, that in a world of opinion, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to not like someone, what someone did, and to say that that person isn't for me. We're so caught up in everybody feeling like they have to be right and that their way is the only way. Politics is effed up because if you don't choose a side, you're dumb. See, the thing is, Hart gets it. Like, Kevin Hart clearly gets it, but he's not going all the way to say that you don't have to choose a side, that Hollywood forces you to choose a side. Hart sounds like he can't handle a world filled with condemnation. What? It's a divide, but I'm not about to divide. I don't support the divide, he continued. I put everybody in the effing building. We all come into the building. Kevin Hart is in, and we all laugh. I bring people together, like it or not. Old white lady supports cancel culture. I mean, if you look at like Twitter, right? I have not laughed at Kevin Hart in 5 years, and that's just me. How is Kevin Hart complaining about cancel culture from a major platform that went viral that is still genuinely believing that he was canceled? This is a common gaslighting technique by pro-cancel culture losers. The idea that you can't be canceled unless you lose everything and you're destitute. When I talk about Louis C.K. being canceled, it's not uncommon for people to say, actually, he's still doing gigs. Yes, okay. He's still doing gigs and making 1/1000th of the revenue that he was making before it. Now, that isn't to condone what Louis C.K. did or didn't do. Some of the details are foggy, but, he's an example. Kevin Hart obviously still got movie deals and things of that nature. I don't know that he was necessarily quote-unquote canceled. He lost that one gig, but people need to start fighting back against this. We saw this in the video game world with the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's. Journals trying to cancel him now, doubling, tripling down, getting angry that he wasn't canceled. You can see, shut the F up. Kevin Hart rips supporters of cancel culture. You see a lot of people still supporting. You see, Kevin Hart is supposed to be on vacation enjoying being rich. Instead, he throws short man tantrums on the internet because people don't think he's funny. It's a lot of people. New excuse for why Kevin Hart isn't funny just dropped. Isn't that funny? When people are pro cancel culture, it's like exactly like with Five Nights at Freddy's. The game is a huge hit. It's spawned television shows, movies, theme park rides, or stuffed animals, or any number of things, right? It's got 5 or 6 games in the mainline title now, 4 or 5. But when they were trying to cancel the creator, there was all sorts of people saying, "Yeah, game sucks anyway. Game sucks anyway. Never was a good game anyway." But that's just objectively not true. You can say that Kevin Hart's comedy isn't for you, but I don't believe that all these people out here are just saying, Kevin Hart's just not funny. That's not true. That's objectively not true. Clearly many people think that Kevin Hart is hilarious. He says, I've only had 2 good movie reviews. It doesn't bother me. I'm no stranger to negative feedback. Kevin Hart's the world's highest earning comedian on his new film Fatherhood, and why he's had it with cancel culture. You can see here Kevin Hart on people that support cancel culture. Shut the F up. That's why you're seeing a lot of Twitter meltdown about this. If somebody has done something truly damaging, then absolutely a consequence should be attached. But when you talk about nonsense, when you're talking about someone said and then they need to be taken down, shut the F up. What are you talking about? Good for Hart for standing up for common sense and truth. The people who support cancel culture are a tiny minority of this population, yet we allow them to control the narrative. The only way that ends is if more and more people step up and push back against the insanity. We can use Gina Carano as an example. A lot of people say, well, she wasn't canceled. She got that film deal with the Daily Wire. Okay, one film deal. Let's see if there's anything else down the road for her. I mean, she will never work for Disney or Lucasfilm again. That's for sure. How many major film studios are going to hire her now? These people like to gaslight, you know? Chris Rock, Joe Rogan, Kevin Hart, and many others have now spoken up with every celebrity who steps up. We're one step closer to ending this nonsense once and for all. Most importantly, comedians should always push the limits. Not every joke will land, but they should still push the envelope. That's why they're comedians. Comedians are supposed to make you feel uncomfortable at times. That's how you know they're doing their job. You have obviously Chris Rock ripping cancel culture. The thing is, comedians nowadays, what have genuinely accepted as a comedian are losers like Colbert, who they don't play for laughs, they play for applause, and that's a very, very different thing when you think about it. When you think about the end goal of why Stephen Colbert says the things he says, it's for applause. He wants people to agree with him. He's not interested in making you laugh. Good for you, Kevin Hart. I hope more comedians come up and continue to push back against this. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.